YouTubers, Brian Proctor back again, and in this video I want to do a character sketch. This is still part of the series of the comic book, creating your own comic book, but I was doing one of my characters for my next comic book, and I have been helping people out online, helping them out with their drawing ability and their character designs. And as I was doing mine, I ran into a couple things that I've been seeing a lot of young artists run into. So I said I will just do a character sketch and point out some of the things that you guys are having trouble with or may be having trouble with. But before that, there's one thing I want to say, because I went back and I looked at one of my videos, and excuse me if I stutter, because this is not this is all this is coming off the top of my head, because it was just an idea and I said let me go ahead and film this, so there's no script or anything like that. So the first thing I talked about, I think it was in part 4, was taking a blank sheet this size, and then you can just add a line. I think I said like 2 inches down here, but it's actually I think it's 1.5 on the top and the bottom, 2 and half an inch on the side. So if you go 2.5 inches, you'll be eating your paper up. So I believe it's 1.5 on the top and bottom, and a half inch on the side. And I'm jumping up to make sure, because I'm filming with my daughter's camera, so I want to make sure that I stay focused or in range. So okay, that's the very first thing, because I don't want you to go out and buy paper and then just ruin it all with a 2-inch border. So just keep that in mind. So let's do this character thing. Let's start out with pencil, and this might run over 30 minutes. I'm trying not to, but to me, as I say, knowledge is more important than skill, because when you go to school, whatever skill for music or whatever, they can't give you the skill to play music. They can show you how to play music with your skill, and the same thing with art. So I think the information is more important sometimes. So let's just do the character real quick. And I've always said, a lot of times people start with the head, and the head runs off the page, or the feet run off the page. So always start with your torso. So let's do this, and it's just going to be a quick torso sketch, quick sketch. Center line, and as I go, I will point out some of the things that people are having trouble with. I'm going to move my paper, because as I say, this is not my camera. I actually I lost my camera at work, so I haven't been back to work in a couple of days, so I don't know if anybody found it or not. So I'm using her camera today. And the reason I'm doing this on a big piece of paper is because I want to try to add just a little bit of detail to it. And one thing about the arms, let's do the delts first. The chest comes up, connects to the delt. Your bicep is under this circle here, and the bottom of your bicep is, make a point, a V, and then come up, because you have your muscle right here. It separates right there in that center, and you have that little center space. And that's one thing that makes your arms look a little better. And this also, a lot of people draw the chest like this, and I've noticed when people raise the arm up, their chest is the same. But when you raise the arm up, let me show you, you have the collarbone here, and there's a dip right here, and the other one. When you raise your arm up, it's going to come up like this. So this piece here is going to go up. Let me, for a second, and make sure you can still see this. Let me try to zoom in just a little bit. Hopefully you won't go out of focus. Let's just do this. Let's say as far as I need to go here, as far as I need to go there. Okay, so, and the arm, the chest, from the top part to the bottom part comes down, and your chest will come in like that. It won't come out the way people draw it, like this. It actually comes up with that arm, and then you have some shoulder, and then the arm comes up out of here. So let's say if this guy was going back to draw his sword or something like that, your chest would come out like that. But I'm not going to have him draw a sword. I'm just going to bring it up for just reasons, drawing reasons. So under here, it's going to come, and it's basically going to kind of curve like that, and then you have your lats that come back from there. Your bicep is here, and like here and here, and then some other muscles that come down there, but I don't want to get into that yet. I just want to make sure you have this piece right. It curves here and here, and then you have your lats which come down, and people always have problem with the ribs. So if you draw a triangle down here, this is where your nipples would hit on the triangle, and as you go down, you have those ribs here and the ones that come from there. But I'm not going to worry about the anatomy too much, because I'm going to dress this character and then show you some of the mistakes that a lot of people have been making. And you have your V here because you have your shoulder, and then you put your head there. The head is so small, it's not going anywhere. There's no need to fall off the page. And then your neck. So you have your body. Now, dressing the character, a lot of people have trouble with that, and because this is scrunched up, you'll have this come up and this there. So like I said, this is your bicep. Your triceps are way back here, and you have like a divot in here, and your muscles there. But this, it comes around like so, drops down, and you have your lats come out. Okay, let me check and make sure this thing is still running. All right, now let's drop the size a little bit. Shrink this down a little so we can get the whole body in here. So to keep it at that thing. All right, so let's say you have your character drawn and you want to dress your character. So these are some of the things that you're going to run into. People put belts and straps and wristbands and so forth on their characters, and a lot of them are somewhat wrong. So we'll address that with this. And so if I can get this hand halfway looking decent. All right, so one thing, I want to get into a quick perspective before we dress this guy. If you have a figure, if you have a person, let's just say here's your person, and you put a pole next to this person. Let's say it's a 9-foot pole, and this pole has stripes across it. Let's say this person's eyes are right here. So if you put a stripe across the pole right here, this is how he's going to see that stripe. Now as he looks up, the stripe will get a little more curved, more and more and more and more the higher it goes. Now if he looks down at the stripe that's underneath of it, it'll start curving the opposite way, like that. Now this is the same thing as when you put a belt or wristbands or something on your character. Where is the eye level that you are, well, how am I going to say this, that you have decided to draw? When you draw a picture, you, the artist, set the eye level to wherever it's going to be. So if you say, okay, my eye level is here and my character is here, same thing goes for anything with stripes. If I'm looking up here, that's going to have to be round because my eye level's down here. Same thing for this. This is going to be like that. So that's something that you have to remember when you're doing, and that's also for perspective as well. So anything comes down, it's a perspective thing. I'll get into that another time. So let's just say I want to put a belt on this guy. So my eye level was probably somewhere about right here. So that means it's going to have a slight, just a slight curve, because it's not way down here. So let's put a belt here, and we're just going to put standard stuff on this guy, something that everybody would put. Let's just say we'll put a holster on this guy. He's got a gun. And I'm going to go fast with drawing because I just want you two guys to kind of get what I'm trying to say. Now, if I put a strap around his leg, it won't be straight. It will still have a curve around it because the leg is curved. Same thing, if I put boots around this guy, because it's like that, the boots are not going to go straight across. I'm going to move this up to make sure you guys can see. The boots are going to have curved around his leg. Same thing with a belt. Let's say I got really detailed, and I don't want to ink it because not yet. Okay, let's move this over. As I said, this is my daughter's camera, and I want to make sure it is counting down the minutes as I do this. So, let me show you closer. In doing a belt, it's actually going to, some of it's going to actually curve around. Say like if this is the belt here, you're going to get some of it to actually curve around the waist. Same thing with the arms and so forth. So you just want to get a little curve here, just a little bit, and come off the side. You never want something like a belt or a wristband. If this is the person's arm and this is his wrist, you never want it to be skin tight like that. You always want to take it off just a little bit to show that it does have some thickness to it. Same thing with boots or anything like that. So let's put a strap around this guy. Same thing. The strap is going to curve around because this is a curved part. So curve it around like this. And then it's going to actually go behind him. It's going to come off. His waist is here. So that belt is going to go around him. Just like this is going to come up above his shoulders and kind of curve down. This one is going to curve around, depending on where the belt is. Same thing. So if I put a wristband on him, I'm going to try to keep this in focus. This is going to curve around that arm like that because that's up, just the same as I said this. It's not going to be flat like that. You can see right away that's not right. It's going to be curved, and the bottom part is going to be curved as well, and it's going to come off of the person's arms. And it depends on how thick. If it's like made of metal, you want to try to curve it around just a little bit under the bottom. Depending on how thick it is, it will be more off of the wrist. So let's just say this one's going to be curved down, and this one curved. All right, so at this point I couldn't do my daughter's phone anymore because it kept cutting off and skipping on me, so I ended up ordering me a phone, and it's here now, so the quality should be a little better. Forgive me for my shortness of breath because I'm still dealing with a cat and I'm running up and down the steps, but I'll be all right in a second. So where I last left off, I was talking about the wristband or any band being thick. So let's just say this guy was a slave. I'll say you were doing the Conan type of drawing. You would want to make it thick and curve it around his arm like that. Same with the bottom. And that way, a person, and let's just say I put the chain on it, a person could determine how thick that something was on another person. But I'm not going to leave that on. I just wanted to show you. You see how it curves around his arm like that in the back. And that's basically how stuff should be. And then I was looking at this belt, so let me curve this around a little bit more to make it fit a little better. Because it's so close to that eye level that it didn't really need to be curved too much, but you have to remember the body is round. Let's just say if you had a circle, a ball, whatever. You can draw a straight line on that ball, but it still would be round. When you turn it at an angle, you'll still have that roundness. So you have to remember that. Everything on this is is basically a cylinder or oval. So whenever you draw something, you have to remember that. So let's get rid of this, and I'll put a regular less thick wristband on this guy. Remembering it is below the eye level. And what I mean by eye level for those who are beginners is that whenever you draw your comic book, for each panel you draw, you have to determine as the artist where your camera, I'm not even going to try to draw a camera, one of those movie cameras, where your camera is going to be set up to film. And this represents your eye. So if you had something, let's say your hero stepped into the room and he was, you wanted him to look like he was standing above everybody, you would say, it's going to be a low shot. So I'm going to place the camera down low so that I can see him like that. So where he's just tall, bigger than life. So that's what I mean by eye level. You have to set, in every panel you do, you have to set your eye level to where you want it to be to show the best angle or the best whatever scene you do. If you wanted to show a helicopter, is this a helicopter flying over a house, then you'd have a higher eye level to where you can see down on top of that house. So as I say, you'd have to set that eye level to show the best, I don't want to say scene or the best action or the best whatever that you can. So hopefully that clears up what I'm saying by eye level. So when I drew this, my eye level, not thinking, my eye level is pretty much right here. And see, a lot of times I don't think about where my eye level is unless I'm doing something like that, like a down shot or something like that, or straight up shot. Most times I've done it so much that I kind of basically know where I want to plant people. So another thing I was looking at was when you do this, under here is where your underarm is. So when you come down, you're gonna have the underarm, and this part over here is where your lats start out at. So yeah, you're gonna have that part. And a lot of people I don't think anybody really talks about that underarm part, but that's where it is. Once your arm comes in under that bicep, you have that. And as I say, if you're muscular, it'll jut out like that, and then you go down. Another thing is abs. A lot of people have trouble drawing abs. I have videos on anatomy. Just let me show you. I always put this little V right here when I do it, and then curve it around and then down. And that is I think it's the way the bone structure is. I think it's shaped like that in the inside or your ribs. Don't quote me, but I'll find out later. But I always do this. And then you want to bring it down. And I have a video on, because this is round, and I don't want to keep jumping and skipping. Because your torso is round, or your rib cage is round, your ribs like that. From this point to this point, if you draw a circle around that roundness, this is where your ribs curve in. This is where your abs will come in at, or start to drop down at. Same thing with this. Your abs will come in, and they don't go straight down. So if this was your waist, they will not come straight down. They actually curve in a little bit. So you have six-pack. Well, everybody knows about a six-pack, but not everybody has a six-pack. Some people have 8-packs. Some people have 4-packs. Some people have, and I'm trying to, actually 10-packs if I'm not mistaken. Being a new camera, I'm not sure what it's going to do and what it's not going to do. Focus or go out of focus or whatever. So in drawing the abs, when you come around right here at this point here where you drop the ab in, this is where your first set should start. And I'll usually curve it up like that. It's not going to be square like a window. it's going to have some curve to it. Then your second set is going to be, these are going to be probably the largest squares, shall we say. The second set under here, your third set here, and then you have you have this. You have it. Abs, and then you have, they go the other way, they go down your pelvis, pelvic area. Since I'm drawing that so fast and so crooked. First set, second set, which are going to be smaller, your third set, and your belly button is like right here, and then you have this part that comes down because your waist is here, your hips like that, because this is your love handles right here, your love handles with that little fat around your waist. But you don't see it once you get past your belly button, because your belt is usually right in here. Let me do something really weird. That's just red. Use this blue. So your belt is going to come somewhere around here to cover up that love handle. And if you don't have a belt, if it's spandex, you really don't see it. You just kind of draw it straight down. But those are your best way to draw abs. You have your 6, your belly button's here, and that's basically, I think it's a little below your love handles, but it's in between the two. But everybody's stomach is different. You could, like I said, you could have a 6-pack, or 4-pack, or 8-pack. But I just lost what I was saying. Oh, not all abs are straight across, like perfectly done. If you have that type of anatomy, which is what do they call it? Your genetics are like that. Some people's abs are here, they're staggered here, and you might have one lower. This next one will be lower. This next one will be lower too. So don't put so much into trying to draw perfect abs, especially if you're going to cover it up. But I tend to do the regular chronic static abs, and some people's abs open up here where the muscle just kind of stops, and you have this little opening here. And so there's a lot about abs that if you get into it, you'll see. But for just the sake of drawing abs, remember, curve here at this point here where it starts to go down, that's your first set. Second set is going to be smaller, as in not as wide or lengthy. Third set will come down, let's say, to your belt, or where your belt would be, your belly button, and then you have this down here, but that's usually covered up. But since we're going to put clothes on this guy, we're not going to worry about the abs. Sometimes it's best to just do just a line like that, and you don't have to worry about the squares. Sometimes it looks a little better if you just have that one line to indicate some abs, and then maybe darken around the corner or the corners, and that's just as good as having squares, because if you can't really draw the squares right, then just use the line here. Don't make it straight. Give it a little curve to it, just a little curve to it, and then that's a good thing. So I'll take these out. So it just like that. That's good enough to show that the guy's got a smooth stomach. All right, I shouldn't have drew that dark because I want to ink this thing. All right, change this belt, and I think this is probably definitely going to go over 30 minutes because it was 13 minutes before I changed cameras. Change that belt. Now I'm going to give this guy a belt buckle, and I'm going to start drawing, and I don't know what I'm going to draw on it, but I'm going to start drawing, and once I find something that you guys run into that you have problems with, I'll address it. Let me get rid of the red. So I'm going to put pants on this guy, and whenever you put clothes on it, you're going to have wrinkles. There are going to be certain places you're going to have wrinkles, and anywhere the skin moves or twists or bunches up, you're going to have wrinkles. Like you come down, you have a few wrinkles here coming down, and under the knee, by the knee, you're going to have a few wrinkles. And if these are boots, as I was saying about curving around, you want to take the boots off and bring them down, depending on the type of boots you have. If you have like the skin tight boots like that, then that's fine. But so let's just say this guy was a soldier. You'd have the boots come here, and you have a little extra leather, and then your feet come down. Like that. So if these were pants and they were tucked into the boots, they wouldn't just go straight up. They would flare out just a little bit and then come out into where the wrinkles are. And I'll show you about wrinkles in a second. And you don't want a whole lot of wrinkles. And for detail's sake, where you tuck it in, they'll usually be like little upside down V's for where the fabric bunches up at. And then here, just for detail, for men's clothes, you have your zipper, and then because you're kind of bouncing up and down, you'll have a few wrinkle lines like that. Same thing here. So if I put a strap, which I have the strap around his leg, remember it's going to come off the leg because you have pants underneath that, and your pants are going to kind of bunch up behind that. Same way, if you put something tight on your arm, it's going to pull into your arm. Same thing here. And then you're going to wrinkle up around the knee because the knee is constantly bending. And then out for these pants, and I'll give them the same kind of boots. So you can have the thick boots depending on your character, or you can have the thin type of what do I want to call it? Touching your flesh type boots. So I'll keep both, one on one and one on the other. And give this guy a little heel. Like so. And I think I kind of screwed up because one knee was higher than the other. And that's another thing that when you're drawing, I think I mentioned it. I think I mentioned it on a video, or I think I told it to one of my online students, shall we say, is that when you're drawing, let me see where I stopped at, because you couldn't see this. You couldn't see what I was doing. So let me shrink this back down. Sorry for that. I didn't know how long this was. Let me go back over that again. As I was saying, your pants, and I'll do this in red so you can see exactly what I did. There's going to be wrinkles around the knees. Where your boots are, where your pants are tucked in, it's going to flare out like that, and then down. And then your boots, depending on if it's a soldier or not, he's going to have a little extra leather around there because this part of the foot moves up and down, so they have some space for that. And then your boot, unless you're doing the skin tight type of boots like Superman, Batman type thing boots, it just follows the curvature of the leg and foot. And again, once I say, if you have anything tucked in, it's going to have some wrinkles around it where you tuck it in, and it's going to come out like that. Folds in at the knee, a couple extra folds, come out, and where the strap is, I don't know if you were seeing that or not, the wrinkles are going to come out like that to show that it's tight against the person. And okay, back to the mirror thing. It's good to, if you're drawing, number one, it's good to have a mirror in front of you because you can see yourself, especially when you're doing facial expressions. It's good to have a mirror. You can look at the mirror and do the facial expressions, so it helps you do better faces. Also, it's good when you take your picture and you turn it up and you look at it in the mirror. You can see from a different way, and you can see if you have any mistakes or not. Another good thing to do is turn it down. I have a hiccup, so excuse me. Turn it upside down. You can also see, if something's wrong, like immediately you can see if your lines are crooked or if one foot is higher than the other. Another thing that you do is once you get to a point, just stop, get up, walk away, go have a sandwich or watch a little piece of a TV show or something, and then come back and look at your picture, and it's fresh in your sight. Because if I keep looking at it and keep drawing, I might not see the mistake. Like one hand might be bigger than the other because I'm thinking, oh, this is looking good, this is good, this is good. But when you stop and you walk away and you come back maybe 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, then you'll see, as you walk up to your picture, you'll say, oh, that's crooked, that's wrong. So those are 3 good things to have. Your mirror, look at it in the mirror, turn it upside down. You can turn it upside down in the mirror too, but when you turn it upside down just on your table, you'll be able to see it. And then just walk away from it. And a lot of times I'll walk away from it and come back the next day. That's why it takes me so long to get so many drawings out. But those are 3 good things. And there were a couple other things that I want to talk about, because knowledge to me is better than skill. You have the skill, I'll give you the knowledge. I said I was going to fix these hands up. So when you do the hand turned in, you see this and that. So you see this part of the flesh. You see the fingers. You see 3 fingers. It'll come up. You have the first one tucked down. Second one goes up a little bit, and the third one goes up more. Then this curves in. It's like a box, and you have that palm. You have the other palm that comes out, and you have your thumb that tucks around the fist like that. The other finger is here, but you just don't see it because this finger dominates at certain angles. You know, you don't, I don't know if you can see that. That's the wrong way. I can't do it. So you trust me on this one. It's back there, but it dominates. This one dominates at that angle, so you won't be able to see it. So let's do this hand real quick. And then fix this thing here. As I said, this is a new camera, so I'm not sure cutout times or anything like that. Hopefully it'll make a noise if it films. My old phone, I think it filmed for like 45 minutes or 47 minutes, and then it would stop. So we haven't got to the 40-some minute thing yet. All right, another thing that I was asked online by a couple people about the dolls, the drawing dummies I had. They said was